to improve the focus, concentration and hand-eye coordination in children in the age group of 3 to 5 years. Hand-eye coordination is the ability to perform movements with the hands while being guided by the eyes. A child's hands and sight work together to perform different tasks. Let's look at this particular video. This child is actually putting in the rings one on top of the other and removing it. This calls for a great amount of coordination of the hand as well as the eye. Whereas this little girl is actually trying to put the beads using a lace. And if you can see, she's beautifully doing it in a pattern wherein she has a pink, a blue, a pink and a blue. So you have a different pattern and you can have the numeracy concept also being done with the child in this way. Very carefully, she is looking at the lace, putting in the bead through the hole and pulling it all across. Children at this age, it is important for them to do such activities because it develops their fine motor skills. And more activities like these in terms of beads, or you could give them cardboards with various holes and ask them to lace it in a particular pattern, say a cross pattern, an X pattern, or maybe an alphabet M pattern. So they would look at the pattern and then take the lace through those particular holes. These are really important for the little ones right from 3 years onwards to 5. This helps later when they get on to writing. Fine motor skills and the development of the muscles in this age is extremely important. Let's look at various other activities that the children can do in this. You can give them sand or maybe rava or suji in a container and ask them to pour it into another container without dropping. So the child might mess it in the beginning but will definitely improve. Puzzles are a beautiful activity for the children. So they first of all develop the logical ability of having the entire picture put into the frame and also locking the pieces correctly. So this way they work on the fine motor skills. Similarly, when we look at fine motor development, there is a lot with respect to concentration here. For example, you can give the children paper tearing as an activity. Give them a sheet of paper, newspaper, and let them tear the papers to small pieces. So this way, when during the lockdown, for example, you are not able to take the children out to the garden, it is important to channelize their energy. So this way, they will actually tear the pieces and you will notice that this child is not giving it up. She's saying, okay, it's too big a paper, I'm not able to tear it, but she still tries and tears it into small bits of paper. And they can do it as small as possible depending on the age. Look at this. She's torn the papers into such small pieces, and once again the attention span in this particular age group is very less, but activities like these will keep them engrossed and occupied, and finally they will actually have a sense of achievement and say yes, they have done it, and torn it into small shreds of paper. With the shreds of paper, it's important to channelize them, saying that why can I not make it something more creative with things which I have just torn it into small pieces of paper. So give them a sheet of paper, give them some Fevicol, give them an outline or ask them to draw an outline and say, why don't you make a collage out of it? So they could choose to say, okay, I want the darker colored ones to come here. Maybe here I'm drawing a peacock, maybe this is an orange, and then they would actually take time to, of course, stick. Again, fine motor skills are very important here because you have the papers being picked up and sticking it slowly within that particular frame. Children are very engaged and you can see the focus and the attention because from what they have actually shred or their entire energy has been used up in tearing it into small pieces. With those pieces of paper, how you can actually build a collage. Stacking blocks is again another example where you have a lot of focus and concentration. This child is actually using two triangles to make a square without even understanding the geometry concept. She knows that, okay, I can actually make a square shape using these two triangles and placing it one on top of the other. It looks simple, and you can actually see they make a lot of innovations. Okay, I've stacked up a few of the squares. Now let me put something which is round or a cylindrical. I don't find that I'll be able to balance this, is what the child feels. And then the child picks up something else and then keeps it. So it's a lot of trial and error. What looks as simple to us is very difficult for the child, because picking, placing, balancing, and seeing that, okay, yes, it's a tower, I'm able to make a tall tower, and they get very excited. And at the same time, what happens is, yes, the tower does break down, but the attitude of never give it up is something which the children develop, and they go back to it and build a tower and make sure that they have a tall one. Children are really excited when you give them blocks. It could be blocks, it could be different Lego pieces, etc. Memory game is really interesting for all these children in this age group. Place different objects, show the child, and now cover it. And then say, okay, yes, I'm just going to remove one object. You will have to find out what object has been removed. Wow, this child seems to be doing the abracadabra and finding out what is it which is missing. Mom had placed 4 different items and she says it's a dog. So depending on the age, you can have different kind of activities for the children in this particular age group. This is another activity where we say it improves the focus and the attention of the child. Have, say, 3 different cups. Place an object under one cup. Move the cups in different order and ask the child to focus on where the cup with that particular toy or what you have hidden is around. And then the child places it. So it calls for a lot of focus and a lot of concentration. Lemon and spoon, or the spoon and the egg, is another activity that you can actually do with the child, which calls for a great amount of concentration. So give a spoon and place a lemon or a table tennis ball or a boiled egg in it, and ask the child to hold the spoon in the hand and move all along. And this way the child will actually concentrate and take the spoon forward, making sure that whatever is placed on the spoon doesn't fall down. Slightly older children, you can ask them to balance it in their mouth, hold it in their mouth and walk across. This is a very good activity for the children to understand what they need to focus on and how they need to go along a particular path. Clay modeling is very important for the children. They love different textures. You may find some children not very happy touching clay, but give them this kind of exposure and ask them to roll it. So again, rolling, crumpling of paper, all these are fine motor development which are very important for the children. And once they are comfortable, they can make patterns in them. The next one, which of course as a recap which we will do is right now, with respect to hands-on coordination, there are different activities like we said. You could do lacing the beads, or you could have something on the cardboard with the hole punched in and do it as a pattern. You can stack blocks. You can transfer the sand or rava or suji from one container to another. You can have water in one container and ask them to pour it into another glass, or you can have a narrower glass or a narrower vessel for them to pour it on. This could be some activities for your hand-eye coordination which we can do. And going forward, with respect to what we call it as the focus and concentration improvement for the children, we could do are various of those activities which we have just listed out, and here is a quick recap for you to have a look at. What is missing? You have the memory game, you have the paper tearing and the collage, you have the lemon in the spoon walk. Find Me is the game where we actually say it is under one of those cups, and now while we're moving it, find out where it is. So your eye actually moves and you're concentrating on where that particular cup that you have your toy in is moving ahead. Is it to the right? Is it to the left? Etc. So a lot of focus and concentration is developed in this particular thing. So with this, we come to the end of the tip section. Hope this has been useful for you, and a special thanks to the little children who have helped in making these videos. Do try these tips out and share your feedback in the comment section. And for more such videos which we will be coming up with, make sure that you subscribe to the channel so that you get a notification as soon as the new video is launched into the YouTube channel.